real estate agent? Are you looking to acquire clients consistently so you can grow your business and your income to live a great lifestyle? This is Dave Finale and the RE Skill Builder Podcast.
Hey, and good morning to everybody out there in real estate land. My name is Dave Finale, and this is the Real Estate Talk TGIF weekly broadcast. This is number 174. We've done 171 weeks in a row, and it's Real Estate Talk TGIF. And today we have one of the top national speakers, if not the top national speakers, an author, a real estate broker, a guy that's been around for a couple of years, Glenn Bill. Glenn, thanks so much for being on the broadcast today.
Hey, Dave, big fan of the show, big fan of the hat, and I can't wait to share with your audience today. Hopefully the folks listening to us will get some nice little pointers about real estate, and maybe we'll make a difference for some people today. So love what you do. Congratulations, 174 of these. Not easy to do, and certainly puts you in the top 1% of all people that do this.
Thank you so much for that, Glenn. I really appreciate that. And the reason I started doing these 171 weeks ago was because I saw people doing it. I saw them doing a crappy job. I said, I can do a lot better than that. I can be consistent and I can show up. And I'll show up with passion and energy. And that's what I want to do. And the most important thing, aside from giving the value back, is to have that passion. And also for you and me and anybody else who's my guest, have fun doing it. So I want to start with the basic question I ask everybody that comes on my broadcast. And I'm going to tell you that only about 2% get the answer correct. So don't feel bad if you don't get the answer correct. So the question is, what does TGIF stand for?
What does TGIF stand for? Well, I know it can't be Thank God It's Friday.
And some people do think that.
But it's not.
No, not for this show. For this show, it is Thank God It's Finale. Okay, so that's the way it is.
Finale. How could I have missed that?
That's right. It's staring you right in the face. So anyway, let's get right down to it. Glenn, you've been in the business for a few years. I say few years, tongue in cheek. Everybody knows that. Like when I say I was first licensed in 1976, I say I was 2 years old. So anyway, so talk to me about your story. Tell me why you got into the business, how you got to where you are as the top speaker in the country.
Well, thanks, Dave. I've been in the business for 33 years. My journey started when I was 18 years old, when I got into real estate, went and interviewed with every broker in town. I was a Division I football player and was in a situation where I needed to start a career. And so I figured real estate was the best place to do that. Went to about every broker in town, and there was only one that would hire me, a good guy named Dave Harling, Century 21 Gold Key. And he took a chance on a 19-year-old kid. I quickly understood something about real estate that was very simple. I needed to get purchase agreements and listing agreements signed in order to get paid. Everything else is just preparation. Nothing else matters. I needed to get ink on paper. And as I travel around the country and train real estate agents from San Diego, California to Boston, Massachusetts, the only thing that matters at the end of the day is that I get some ink on some paper. I was absolutely broke. I was young. I wasn't even able to drink. And Lord knows we all need a cocktail every now and then when we're selling real estate. So I quickly became one of the top agents in that franchise. And then at 23, a gentleman by the name of Tim O'Connor and Steve Decatur got together with me. They were both 10 and 15 years older than me. And we recreated and lifted up a company called Century 21 at the Crossing. We took that business from 600,000 in revenue and 16 agents to about 150 agents and 10 million in revenue. And we sold that about 14 or 15 years ago. We were one of the fastest growing franchises in the nation. We planted our flag between the number one company in the nation and a top 10 company in the nation. And we fought it out and we had a blast. So anybody that worries about where to plant your flag, don't worry about planting your flag. Go make things happen. And so that's what we did. I then then after I sold everything, I was about 37 years old when we sold all 3 offices. Stayed on with Century 21 Sheets, fantastic people. And then 2 years ago, switched brokerages after 31 years at a franchise, Century 21 franchise, as an owner, as a top 10 team leader, top 10 office, top 10 agent. Went with and moved and shifted my brokerage to EXP, and where we continue to do what we do on training agents and keynote speaking on the attitude thing, which I know you know. So just been very fortunate. I've had great co-op agents and great buyers and sellers. Built my business from the ground up organically. Not a big fan of paying for leads. I teach people how to sell 52 homes a year for free. The only thing you need to pay for is my knowledge. But anybody that joins our Source of Sales system, I want to invite anybody that's watching, go to Source of Sales on Facebook. It's a group. We have about almost 400 agents in there now and loan originators. I train loan originators too. How to get inside the heart and mind of a real estate agent. That's our purchase mentality program. But really looking forward to 2022. Our Source of Sales training system, which I do, it's a 10-hour live training program, is coming out in January. It's a book that will be released in January, and then we'll have a tour following that. And so we're really looking forward to, we've renovated the Source of Sales system to come into the 2020s. It's called Source of Sales 2.0. And it's a lot of fun. And if you're an agent that's not getting a paycheck every week, I'm somebody that you're probably going to want to check out.
Okay, so let's hit right into it, right? So if you're someone not getting a paycheck every week, now before I go into a real question here to talk about this, one of the things that realtors don't understand is that if they have a regular job when they get their real estate license, they're kind of getting a regular paycheck. That could be every week. It could be every other week. And what you're talking about is something that I talk about a lot as well, is there's no reason. And I believe that every realtor should be getting a check a week, right? It's just the way you apply yourselves. Talk to me about your theory behind that. And then how does someone start in real estate to get a check a week?
Sure. So, there's a million different ways to get a check a week in real estate, right? And I'll just share my story.
Okay.
I was 19 years old. I was broke. I had a kid on the way, just got off the football field. And I said, what's the fastest source of business opportunity? FSBO. And I said, well, here's a novel idea. People putting signs in their yards who don't have a real estate agent, advertising, please help me. And so I started my business, not with for sale by owners, but the fastest source of business opportunity. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what market you're in. I don't care where you are. Buy owners and expireds are low-hanging fruit. And you know what it costs you to knock on a door and be nice to a buy owner and expired? $0. And so I was broke. And I ended up creating a whole for sale by owner program, an expired program. That's how I did it. I looked at non-owner occupies. I went to the tax records. I found people that didn't live in the homes that they own. I talked to them about cash equity analyses. And then as we teach in our Source of Sales program, the CACC formula, which is contacts, appointments, contracts, and closings. And I can give anybody, if we work backward, whatever income level you dream of in real estate, we will work the contacts, appointments, contracts, and closings formula. So all you need to know, even if you're a moron, how many people to talk to, even if you have no dialogue or no script, I'll give you a script. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer or Seller, or hi, Mr. and Mrs. Gas Station Attendant. Do you own real estate? No, Glenn. Would you like to? That's my script. That's one. So I committed. I was working third shift at a paper company. I was working at Mr. Video. I was going to college. And, I was a Division I football player. Going out, putting on a suit and talking to people seemed relatively easy to me. And I would get my 20 contacts done before noon. And then I would go do everything else I had to do before I got my feet on the ground. And I knew that if I talked to 20 people a day, 100 people a week, 400 people a month, and 4,800 people in a year, I should be able to close 1% of those, which is 48 transactions. And I didn't care about price. I called on poor people. I called on $40,000 doubles, right? I didn't care. I knew that I had to get ink on paper, no matter what the price was. So for our new agents, what I always encourage people is go work the under 150 market. I know the paychecks aren't big, but you build career equity. Like people that are first-time home buyers and first-time home sellers and people that aren't necessarily sophisticated, people that don't necessarily have a lot of money, those are the people you need to be practicing on. And there's a lot of those deals at the lower end, and that's low-hanging fruit. So, I didn't, look, I do big deals now, right? Everybody wants me now, but I cut my teeth in markets that nobody would go in. I didn't care if the deal was $15,000. I'd charge $1,500 fee, make $750. And back in 1989, $750 a week for working about 3 hours on a listing. That was good money. So, really yes, that's where it all started, my man.
All right. So, man, so let's dive deep into some things here. So, you know what? I mean, you and I both work with agents, new agents, and the hard part for a lot of them is actually talking to people. So you just said talking to people was relatively easy for you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not really the case for a lot of people. They've got all this fear, all this procrastination, all the excuses, which just is all about doubt within and of themselves. How would you explain, how would you help a newer agent get over that doubt, get over that fear, get over the excuses, all that bullshit? How would you have them do that?
Well, I always like to say, salespeople that don't want to talk to people, they have skinny kids.
Ha.
Right? So, here's the point. Get out of sales. Don't come work with me. Find another job. Or get your ass out and talk to people. So, we can whine and we can coddle people, but the bottom line is this, right? You're in sales. People always say, hey, what do you do? And if you do not have 4 pendings, here's what I teach. I prospect for a living. I don't sell real estate. If you don't have 4 pendings, when people ask what you do, I say I talk to as many people as I can and help them buy or sell real estate. Your job is not real estate sales if you don't have 4 pendings on the books. Your job is to prospect. And if you don't like your job, then you should get into the restaurant business. Your job is to get belly to belly, face to face, and have a conversation and dialogue and help people and bring value, because look at people need us. People need real estate agents who have the knowledge, who have the passion, who have the creativity, who have the vitality to get a home from listing to sold. And
right.
So this job, this wonderful job, this amazing career that we have, look at, it's not for everybody. And so when people say, I just don't want to call on people, I go, why are you here? Right? Yeah. If you don't want to call on people, become a writer. And it's okay. Not everybody's meant to do it. But let's be real clear. We're salespeople and we're prospectors. If you don't like the job description, go buy Zillow leads or go send out mailings. But if you want to work with me and be in my world, we create business for $0 because we're skilled, because we understand what attitude-based selling is. We know how to connect with people automatically, and people pay us for that. And so the people that we coach and train, you know what? They have beautiful lives. They don't pay for leads, and they love what they do. And there's a passion, and that's what it's all about. If you don't have it, you don't have it, and it's cool. Doesn't mean we can't be friends. But guys, I mean, don't come and tell me you don't. That's like a priest saying that he doesn't want to give confessions.
All right. So I get that 100%. And I agree with you all the way through. But you've got this person that, they're really good at organization. They're good at stuff. They love real estate. They love houses, but they just don't want to call people.
Right.
Is that someone that should be in this business, or should they just buy Zillow leads if they want to be in this business?
Well, no, I think they should get a camera and a microphone and start a real estate show and go in and show houses. Maybe they start a photography show. Maybe they could do a virtual tour company. Maybe they could assist a real estate agent in what they do. So that's fine. If you love houses, there's all kinds of careers for people that love houses. Loving houses has nothing to do with being a success in real estate. Loving people, loving families, loving being a part of a family, that has everything to do with selling real estate, right?
Right. So, all right. So you said a phrase earlier, and I want to really dive deeply into this because it's all about your book, The ABCs of Attitude-Based Selling.
Yes. Okay?
We've talked about prospecting. We've talked about, belly to belly, face to face, get on that phone, call the low hanging fruit of FSBOs, expireds, non-owner occupieds, that whole thing, right?
Right.
Attitude-based selling. Let's go deep.
Okay. So attitude-based selling has to do really with the definition of attitude. It's the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think. And so your attitude is the ultimate differentiator when you are out talking to prospects. Your attitude is how people will decide whether to do business with you or with your competitor. When I got into business at 19, I had an amazing attitude. I loved everybody. I loved their home. I worked my butt off, and I told them, I will get your home sold in 30 days. And they went, wow, this guy's got it going on. And then the number 1, number 5, number 10 agent in the market would come through late for the appointment, sometimes unprepared, and go, I sell more homes than anybody. And they would oftentimes call me and say, Glenn, we really like that top producer, but he's a bit arrogant. He does sell a lot of homes. We just didn't like his attitude, right? And so people in this business want people that are hungry, that possess an energy, that are attractive and contagious. It's about the energy you bring to a transaction that makes you set apart from everybody else. And Dave, we all know that there are realtors that bring a lot of negative energy to a transaction.
Oh yeah.
And so when we talk about attitude-based selling, it's not getting the lead, it's not securing the lead, but it's getting the deal to close. And let's face it, 75% of the people that we co-op with and work with could use a little work in attitude-based training. And so that's really what it gets into, right? I mean, that's the basis of attitude-based training is I'm a more attractive and contagious person than the other agents because I have an attitude that is always win-win, that does not involve obstacles, that is always upbeat, that is always about the customer. And most of all, it's about providing value. And so our definition of value, which most people don't know, it's what you do for the customer on behalf of the customer before you ask the customer for business. And so the question is this, when we teach attitude-based selling, what are you doing for your customer on behalf of your customer before you ask them to be their real estate agent? Or do you show up at a party, meet somebody, and they say, this is Glenn. He's our real estate agent. And the first thing you say is, hi, I'm Glenn. I'm a real estate agent. Do you know anybody that needs to buy or sell a house? You provided no value.
Right.
And then at a deeper level, when we get into attitude-based selling, you need to start asking your question, what am I doing for my community on behalf of my community before I ask anybody for business? See, I coached football for 25 years and I was in front of 2,000 people every Friday night. Fortunately, we won 13 state titles. And I knew that if 2,000 people every Friday saw me coaching their kids, I was providing value. Do you know how many of those people called me and said, I want you to be my agent? I love to ask real estate agents this. How many times does your phone ring and they go, hi, I'm looking for an agent. I want you to be them. And I say, how many people are calling you to do business with you? And they look at me. I go, here's the answer. Not enough. So attitude-based Attitude-based selling is all about creating value, not only for your immediate customers, but also creating value in your community. And then that gets into our third level of attitude-based training, which is creating celebrity inside of your marketplace. So what we help people do is create a celebrity brand, which, guess what? Articles in newspapers, TV appearances, radio appearances, that's all free as long as you're providing value. So those are some basic tenets of attitude-based selling. And if you come and engage with me in the Source of Sales course, or if you're a lender or a broker owner that wants me to come in and do our program, we show people how to differentiate yourself, how to be irresistible, how to have people call you. When I wrote my book, The ABCs of Attitude, right? I've been doing this 30 years. Do you know how many people call me and say, I read your book, Glenn, and I want you to be my real estate agent? I mean, this happens. They don't call me because I'm sitting there going, I'm the greatest agent in the world. I've actually done something else. I've created some local celebrity, and people just want to do business with me. They don't sit there and fight about commission. They don't sit there and fight about price. They go, you know what? We read your book, or you've done something that shifted me as a person, right? And so we just want to do business with you. You tell us what it's worth.
So does that mean you got to write a book to get a lot of real estate business?
Well, no, but you should probably start writing. Jeffrey Gitomer will tell you writing leads to wealth. And when you talk about creating value, my question is this: what value have you given your customers? What value have you given your marketplace? What value have you given your community? What value have you given your peers? One great way to deliver and communicate value is to simply write. And it's a pretty easy exercise, but it's simple, not easy.
Okay. So let's talk about the attitudes of people and celebrity and everything else. So I want to get into celebrity, right? So you said a few things that I need to understand. So we can build celebrity for people. And that's the third thing you talked about,
Yeah.
right? And you talked about different ways. What about social media?
Correct. Right. I mean, the freest, easiest way to create celebrity.
Right.
And I work with mortgage companies all over the country, helping them get inside the hearts and minds of real estate agents. Dave, you're creating celebrity with what you've done. How hard is this? What does it cost you? But look at this. Look what you learn. Look at the people you get to talk to.
Right.
And look at how many people follow you. So yes, we, social media is huge. I'm on LinkedIn. If anybody wants to check me out on LinkedIn, just LinkedIn Glenn Bill. I teach every day on LinkedIn. If you look at my post from last Friday, we had, I think, 350,000 views of people that are viewing my content. Every day, I probably have 4,000 people minimum that are viewing my posts now on LinkedIn. Sometimes they go viral and it hits 50, 60, 70,000. Guess what, guys? I didn't pay a dime for it. And so that's certainly something that you can use. That's certainly something that you can repurpose. And that's giving value, right? And the whole key to social media, and it depends, there's different venues and thoughts. On LinkedIn, I think you got to teach on LinkedIn. On Facebook, I think it's about relationship. On Instagram, I think it's about houses and talking, right? Or it's about houses and pictures and stuff like that. So I always tell people, pick one lane on social media, get great at it, understand it, get up to 5,000 followers on Facebook quick. On your personal page, always have a business page. I mean, my God, I think I got 8 different Facebook pages, and develop those and give value on those.
So I want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn because a lot of times when it comes to real estate agents, is it a place that you think that real estate agents can go to actually get business? Like, all right, so we talk about social media. People will either concentrate on Facebook or Instagram. Rarely do you hear anybody say LinkedIn. Now, I got to say one thing. There's not anyone that ever woke up on a Saturday morning and said, I'm going to Facebook to find a house. So talk to me, why LinkedIn and how has it worked for you?
So to be fair, I use Facebook for my real estate.
Okay. Excellent.
I predominantly, because here's the reason. Facebook is a personal social media site. And so I engage with my community and give value to my community on Facebook because people want to see kids, people want to see houses, people want to see the story of their life unfold on Facebook. So in my opinion, Facebook is where to be as a real estate agent. LinkedIn I use for my speaking and training business, right? So all the attitude stuff, all the source of sales, I'm connecting with realtors who aren't really on it. And I don't know that they should be, but a business to business, there's 10 lifetimes of business for anybody on LinkedIn on a business to business. So I'm a big Facebook guy. I'm a big hyper local Facebook guy.
Oh, absolutely right.
And so if you don't have a hyper local Facebook page, you're crazy. Like it's the easiest money around. And if you haven't .com'd your hyper local neighborhood, you should. Every time I train this, when I go around the country, I get agents that call, Glenn, you're not going to believe it. I just .com'd 30 of my neighborhoods because nobody did. And it still happens today.
Yes, it does.
It's crazy. And it's like, so, my hyper local market, I own every .com there is and every neighborhood around it. I was way ahead of the time on that. I, got good advice early. And so I did it, but never too late to hyperlocal.com your neighborhood and social media that.
Yeah, we have done that when I had my brokers. We did the same thing, and it was pretty amazing. It worked really well. We were the only, just to pat myself in the back for a second, we were the only brokerage that when you Googled a town in the area that was on page one.
My man,
like Zillow and all them. We were the only independent well, not independent because we were Century 21, but an office, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that now. That's like unheard of.
Well,
we had the right webmaster, the right SEO, the right stuff, and the right attitude.
Well, and the right timing. And I tell they Glenn, I got the, every day, every real estate agent has somebody saying, let me get you on the front page of Google. Guys, let me just be real honest with you. You are not going to outspend Zillow. You are not going to do not spend your money on SEO for real estate. I mean, I'm just telling you, but you should .com your name. You should make sure when you put in your name on Google that you do come up and it's not somebody else and you work to get your name to the top. But for God's sake, stop writing checks for SEO because you don't have enough money.
Exactly. I want to give a little bit of advice along with that, just as a side note. A lot of people have names that are easily spelled. Like Glenn Bill is pretty much an easy way to spell it, to spell your name. For me, people spell my name two ways: correctly, which is Fanale, or incorrectly, Finale. So I own davidfinale.com both ways.
You should. Yeah. Great idea.
I also own davefinale.com both ways. So it's important. I mean, Glenn, for you, I would go one end or two ends.
Right.
Exactly. So that's something else you got to think about in the back of your head, because if they go and spell it wrong and can't find you, they're going to say, oh, this guy's lying. He's not doing this, not doing that. Right. Okay. Back to the nitty gritty of the ABCs of attitude. The other day we talked about, when we're getting ready for this, we talked about the three biggest mistakes people make when trying to develop a winning attitude. Can we talk about that a bit?
So, what we talk about is ABC. Attitude addiction is a big problem. Bad beliefs is your next problem. And something called the Kant conundrum. Properly, A, B, C. So let's start with A, attitude addiction. Very simple. And I wrote an article on this on LinkedIn not too long ago. So many people suffer from attitude addiction. And what I mean by that is if you haven't changed anything you've done in the past month, you're probably addicted to your attitude. And certainly if you haven't changed anything in the past year, you're probably addicted to your attitude. If you're hanging around or if you're saying things like, well, that's just me, I can't make a difference, I'm not going to change, this is the way I was born, those are words that would indicate that you have an attitude addiction problem. And if you're hanging around people like that, it's going to be toxic in your life. So the whole point of attitude addiction, the biggest mistake that people make is they stop becoming learners. They stop becoming growers. hey, I sold 52 homes. I'm good. I don't need to do anymore. So what it causes people to do is settle, and it causes them to lower their bar and live in this thing called certainty. And when you do that, it's a death nail for your business. B is bad beliefs, simply the same thing as attitude addiction, but believing things that are false. And I always love to tell people to ask themselves this question about their life and their business. Is it true? As we engage with people, as we bitch about our clients, as we bitch about our listings, as we bitch about our broker and manager, right? Sometimes we need to stop and go, you know what? Is that true? Are they really that bad? Is my seller unduly, my seller saying I'm lazy, I'm not working hard enough, and I'm not doing enough to sell the home? Well, you can fight that back, but is it true? So bad beliefs and this whole bad belief thing is people have self-limiting beliefs, right? They believe things that limit their success, that limit their happiness, that limit their vitality.
Right.
And bad beliefs, not a way to do it. So all I'm saying is check your beliefs. That gets into self-talk, and start, when you make a judgment or an accusation, you really need to say, is that true? And then the third thing with attitude is the can't conundrum. Can't conundrum is simply this. Are you focusing on other people, and are you comparing yourself to others? Certainly happens in real estate more than anything. I've seen real estate agents fly out of the business because you know what? They can't take the heat of the competition. The sales board, you're always looking at the sales board, not at your own sales page. They're seeing success of other real estate agents online, and they get sour and they get jealous and they start comparing themselves. And the only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were the following day. So the can't conundrum is about people focusing on what they don't have, what they can't be, what they can't do, why they couldn't list that home, instead of focusing who they are, what they can have, what they can be, and what they can do. And those, in my opinion, are kind of the three biggest attitude barriers that people face. And we help people in our attitude hour and our attitude seminars recreate their brain, recreate their thinking, and break through those mistakes of attitude.
So that's great. I mean, we talk about, if people say, when we talk about attitude, I mean, I look at this as attitude, right? So if people say they don't have the time, that's an attitude of they really don't want to. Right. If people say, I'll try, to me, that means I'm planning to fail when I try. Right. Because it's not pushing forward. I mean, it's actually pushing rather than pulling. And we all know it's easier to pull than it is to push. Right. So, I mean, if you don't know that, you should know that. Right. So when we talk about elevating your attitude and building an attitude, are there any keys aside from, I mean, people say, attitude, that's bullshit. I mean, what am I supposed to be happy all the time? I'm supposed to pat myself on the back all the time. What kind of crap is that, Glenn?
Right.
What are you supposed to do there? What is it?
So the bottom line is it's the definition, right? The definition is attitude is the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think, which means that you have a choice. And the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think can be positive or it can be negative. And so attitude has nothing to do with motivation. It has nothing to do with emotion. It has nothing to do with smiling and rah-rah. Attitude is about how you feel about the way you think and how you think about the way you feel. And so I always tell people, if you think like crap, you're going to feel like crap. Right. And if you feel like crap, it's probably because you're thinking like crap. And so you are what you think about all day long, the great Napoleon Hill. The question is what are you thinking about all day long? And do you have the ability to say that, you know what, I'm going to dedicate myself to seeing everything as a positive, including any and all adversity? Because we know adversity is attitude booster number 8 in my book. If you haven't gone through adversity, number 1, you're not alive. And number 2, if you think about the 3 or 4 most adverse times in your life, when you think about after you've pushed through and gone through that adversity, look at the person you became. Look at the gift at the end. See, with great trials and great adversity comes great victories and great success. And you need to understand that you got to love adversity. I love adversity. Like, I have a keynote speech that's called 10 Reasons Why I Hope It Gets Worse. I hope rates go to 10%. Can't wait. I hope 2 million people get foreclosed on. I can't wait. Why? Well, in 2008, after the market crash, Dave, I sold 238 homes. I don't care if the market gets worse. So there's a lot of reasons why adversity is great. And hopefully that just answered your question. I might have.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you sold 230 some homes after the crash. I started in real estate when interest rates were 18% plus. But here's the thing, right? People still bought homes.
Yes.
Right. People still need a place to live. It's the basics, right? Shelter, food, and health. Those are the three basics of life that, honestly, guys, we all learned really, really well the past couple of years, right? Health was never really in there. It was food and shelter. Now it's food, shelter, and health, right?
Yeah.
So what leads someone? Okay, so I'm gonna play a game here, right? So you know what, Glenn? That's really easy for you to say because you've done really well. I'm going to tell you that probably you don't have to worry about your mortgage payment or your rent payment, and it's okay for you to enjoy adversity because you really don't seem like you have any adversity. So to have adversity is a game for you. What about others that it's not a game for, where they've got money problems, which leads to bad attitudes? Which, how can I think positively about this when I know I got to get a deal in order to make the rent this month, and I know it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks to close. So what the hell am I going to do? So talk to me about that situation.
Okay, so the bottom line is, I was there. I was broke. I was 19 in real estate with a kid, and my first year in real estate, I made $11,600. And so the bottom line is, you feel what you focus on. And so many people, it's the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think. If you want to think and be in the can't conundrum issue, you can focus on not having the money. You can focus on not having the listings. You can focus on not having the energy. You can focus on not having the skills, or you can become a source of sales student. And you can focus on the 56,000 sides that are in your marketplace right now. The very first thing I do when I go into a market to train agents is I look at total unit count times 2. And I go, okay, there was 56,000 sides sold in this market. That's our 56,000 homes. That's 112,000 sides. How many did you get? So don't tell me there's no opportunity. So you need to focus on contacts, appointments, contracts, and closings. So it's all about focus. Your attitude needs to be, I need to go call on more people. And that's all I did. I would get physically ill if I didn't go knock on a for sale by owner's door. You know why? I didn't want my kids to be skinny. And so that's the whole point. You got to focus on not what you can't do. You got to focus on what you can't do. You can't focus on what you can have. You got to focus on what you do have. You may be broke, but you know what? You can get in a shower and get clean. You can be well groomed. You can put on your best clothes. You can put on your best attitude. And you can go knock doors, buy owners, expireds, investor properties, whatever you want, and do your contacts, and somebody will pay you. You know why? Because it's been that way in real estate for 120 years, and it's not going to change. The more people you talk to about real estate, the higher the odds that you're going to make money. And if you want to have a $12 an hour job at McDonald's, then I suggest you go to McDonald's. You don't have to worry about all that stuff.
So in other words, what you're saying is just do the work.
Yeah, just go see people, contacts. And you can be a moron and still make money in this business. I've done it with people that haven't been that great.
So in your business, you speak in front of huge audiences, right? Small audiences, big audiences. You're still a real estate agent, real estate broker, realtor, and coach as well. So, and an author. So I think, as we
and
said,
a podcaster.
And a podcaster. Okay. Sorry, I forgot that one. Okay.
That's all right.
So talk to me about the process. We've talked overall. We've talked about the ABCs of attitude. We've talked about source of sales, but talk to me about the source of sales. I mean, you've said it a few times. So talk to me about that program. Talk to me about, that's going to be a book coming out in January, I guess. Talk to me about that and how a simple process for two types of agents. One, the new agent, and two, the stuck agent.
Sure.
I think it's kind of similar.
Sure. So source of sales is a very simple program, right? When I bought into owning my business at 23 years old, over the next 17 years, or 14 years, whatever it was, we built our company on sales meetings. And every sales meeting, I would take a nugget from one of the great teachers of all time. And I would come in and do Floyd. I'd come in and do Les Brown. I'd come in and do Tom Hopkins. I'd come in and do Mike Ferry. I'd come in and do Howard Britton. I copied off of them all. And I would do my sales meetings. And I learned and I immersed myself in that. And for some reason, I kept every outline of my sales meetings for 17 years that grew our company faster than any Century 21 in the country. And I turned it in to what is called the source of sales selling system. And so this 10-hour program, what I do is 6 hours in the morning, and we cover 3 masteries. Number 1 is personal mastery. So we do an hour and 50 minutes on personal mastery, studying the greats, but we really help people understand what is the source of your motivation. I always ask audiences, how many people know what to do to be a success in real estate? And they all raise their hands. And then I go, so why don't you do it? And they go, that's where we get stuck. So personal mastery is all about me getting inside of your heart and your brain and helping you reprogram your brain from the worst attitude coaches you've probably ever had, which many of us know are our parents. And we start to tap into what, people say it's your why. I hate that. Your why. It's your source. What will make you put out open house signs at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night? What will make you get out of your car and have the courage to knock on a for sale by owner's door? What will make you present an offer or show an investment property at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday? So that's your source, right? And so we get into this thing called personal mastery. There's some emotional stuff that gets in there, but I get you so geared in after an hour and 50 minutes of what we do, nothing is going to stop you. You make a promise to yourself, you make a promise to your family, you make a promise to your source, whatever that may be, that you're not going to live the life that you're wanting to live. So we get your mind and your heart right to start out. Then we go to session and mastery 2, which is called prospecting mastery. So I don't care, as I said before, we don't sell real estate. We're all prospectors. Before you're a real estate professional, you're a prospector. And if you're not doing 52 deals a year, your job is prospecting. And we do this thing, I love to prospect. And everybody stands up and I force them to say, I love to prospect, because we got to get it in their nervous system, because that's what we do. We are prospectors. So we get into why agents don't prospect. We get into why you do love to prospect. We then get into scripts and dialogues for sale by owners and expireds, because they're the easiest. Then we talk about prospecting your sphere. And then we get into the third module, which is ours. Each one of these courses is an hour and 50 minutes. And then we get into buyer mastery, right? How to not let buyers run you out of the business. How to sell homes in 10 showings or less. I give you all the tricks over 33 years of what I've done to master buyers. There's an art to mastering buyers. There's an art to working with buyers that are motivated to buy, that aren't going to run your life and keep you in. We talk about the secret to market dominance. The secret to market dominance is simply this. It's from the time you shake somebody's hand to the time you get to the closing table and closing that gap. So I teach people how to not only save your own time, but how to save the time of your customers. Trust me, buyers and sellers do not want to wishy-washy agents that waste their time. So I have a system for that, and it's a lot of fun. And that concludes day 1. So we do 4 hours in the morning, we have lunch, and then we do another session. And then day 2, we go through listing mastery. Look at oldest saying in the book, if you list, you last. And I understood that from day 1. The more signs you put in a yard, the better off you're going to be. So we truly talk about mastering the listing. When you're done with me in an hour and 50 minutes, and I just took a guy, he was a KW agent, had 1 sale in a year. First month after SOS, 3 sales, 2 listings. He's like, this is crazy. I didn't know it was so simple. Everybody was telling me all this nut stuff. Look, you need to be able to walk into a listing, get your price, get your fee, be irresistible, be contagious, and make them think if this agent walks out the door, we're screwed. And so that's what I teach real estate agents, is how to walk into that front door of that seller, own that appointment, and get what you want, which is ultimately what they want. And then perhaps as we finish up, the most valuable session is called value mastery. And value mastery is just what we talked about, right? That's the celebrity piece. That's what are you doing for your company and your clients? That's how are you branding yourself? But the most fun thing that we do at the very end of value mastery is the 21 ways to fight the commission objection. And we teach agents about what the commission objection is. We teach them how long it lasts. We give them strategy so when it comes up, they win. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you're going to see many of our students talk about all the money that they've saved, all the money that they've earned, because they've come to the listing agreement armed with 21 different objections. I'll just ask you this, Dave. If you're going to object to my fee and I give you 21 objections, do you think you're going to last for 21 objections?
Well, probably not. So why don't you share 1 or 2 with us?
Well, I mean, I think the easiest one is no, right?
Absolutely. With nothing else. Just no. That's it. Don't talk.
Just no.
Shut up. Shut the hell up.
Right. And then we always do the second one, which is no. Then you laugh.
That's a Floyd Wickman. That's from Floyd Wickman. I remember that one from him. Right.
And then going all the way down to 21 is Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I want to first of all let you know that I know that you've been referred to me. And if I was to reduce my fee at a price of less than the person who referred you to me, how do you think that's going to make them feel? Like, I don't want your friends to be mad because they paid me more than you. I just can't do that to them. Cool. Right. And then we get into leveraging co-ops. We get into saying things like, you know what, the way an agent negotiates his commission is probably going to be the way he negotiates your home price.
Exactly.
We got 21 of them. I can't give them all.
One of the things we talk about is we like to use commission for marketing purposes.
Yes.
You know, yes. There's so many things you can do. Here's the thing is there's never a need, in my opinion, you correct me if I'm wrong, there's never a need to get stuck by anything that any seller is going to ask you. My reason is simply this, Glenn, is that I don't have to answer their question and they will forget that I didn't answer their question if I properly ask the question, listen, repeat, approve, and ask my next question.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a direct response, right? And that's one of the ways that we win all the time. So okay, so we're coming up on time here. And I just looked at the clock. I said, holy crap, right? This is going really fast, which means—
Hey, baby, that's what you get when I come to speak. I try to tell people, I try to make, whenever I am on stage, this is going to be the fastest hour of your day. And that's what we'll
tell you what, it's really been. I mean, we talked about ABC's attitude, sources, sales. We talked about the 3 mistakes, the ABCs, attitude addiction, bad beliefs, can't conundrum, right? So when we talk about one of the big things that we hear a lot of today, and I think this is a great way to put a bow on everything, is the value an agent brings is really what is going to help them get that listing, get that buyer. So is there a unique service proposition? Is there a value-based thing that an agent can do? Is there one thing or is it just attitude?
So 9 out of 10 listings are won before you hit the door. See, when I show up as the chosen agent, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your fee is. When people know they want to do business with you and they call you and you've already won the listing, That's the differentiator. So it's like, what are you doing for all the people in your community, in your database?
Great answer.
Right? So, when I started, my answer was nothing, right? So what did I have to do? I had to go in and I had to listen to Tom and Floyd and Mike Ferry, and I had to, manipulate the sale and start asking questions and maybe knock the guy off. But here's what I know. If a customer likes you more and trusts you more and you have a deep relationship, there's this thing called, I know what I'm going to get with him, and I don't care what it costs. So like, why do we use StreamYard instead of a different service? You know what? StreamYard's easy. StreamYard costs a little bit. Could I get it less? Yeah, but you know what? I know what I'm going to get with StreamYard. I don't have time to look. They did a great job of bringing me in. And so there's that I know what I'm going to get factor. And so that, I think, is really the answer to your question, is the time to get the listing isn't when they want to sell the home. The time to get the listing is the day you give them the keys when they move in 5 years earlier. And that's the mentality that it takes. Okay.
That's right. StreamYard. I mean, I love that you used the example of StreamYard because it is so easy to use. It's so easy to use simply. I mean, everything is there. You just have to want. I mean, it's such a great program to manipulate.
Yes,
the way you want. I mean, look what we've got here. I mean, look at the frames, the stuff rolling on the bottom. I mean, our mutual friend Kyle Draper just commented. Say hello.
Hey, right? Kyle Draper, my man. Kyle's just been so instrumental in helping me with building our podcast. But he goes all over the country. He's speaking and he's helping agents deliver value. I think he's helping agents connect.
Yep.
And his game's a little different than mine. But he's just such a passion. I love Kyle Draper. He's just one of the best people I've met.
So we're up on our hour. How do people get in touch with you to hire you as a speaker, hire you as a coach, work with you in any other way? How do they do that?
It's real simple. Just go to glenbill.com and there's a contact us form. Just go to glenbill.com. You can Google me, Glenn Bill. You'll see all kinds of different links. For our real estate agents, my source of sales training is on gbunlimited.com, gbunlimited.com. You can get a taste for source of sales. If you're a loan originator, you can get a taste for purchase mentality, where I literally walk loan originators through a program to get inside the hearts and minds of agents, to become irresistible to agents, where agents are calling you. See, the whole deal is I try to help people get income. Marketing is not me getting my name out there. Marketing is me getting your name in here. And that's what people don't get, right?
Wow, I love
people are like this, they're throwing up all over their community.
I love that, man.
That's not what it's about. It's about what would cause somebody to give me their email address to get more information. That's marketing. That's smart marketing. And you know what? Doing lives on Facebook is one great way. Like, why wouldn't you interview every single business owner in your hyperlocal residential market? Who sees more potential customers in a hyperlocal residential market than the local guy at the liquor store, restaurant, key shop, carpet shop, grocery store, gas station?
Absolutely.
Got a great idea. Go interview those people.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I got two more things and we're gonna be done.
Sure.
Most important question, aside from the first one I asked you to start the broadcast, is how can I, Dave Finale, Real Estate Skill Builder, help you grow your business?
Dave, what you can do is when you go to any market to do what you do, is bring me in as a speaker and let me blow that sucker up for you. That's all you can do. Let me help you. The best thing you can do for me is let me help you.
Awesome. I love it. And man, you know what? We talked a while, and one of the things you had asked me for was, how do you get one of these hats? Right. Right. So
did I qualify?
And now you got one. Now you got one coming to you in the mail. Right. So,
my man.
So I want to thank you so much for being on the broadcast today. It's been an awesome hour that's gone by so quickly.
Thank you.
I've got so many nuggets. There's so many things that I will do now, not only with myself, but also with people I work with to help them grow their businesses. Glenn, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to go off. Please stay on for a second.
Sure.
And thank you, everybody. Next week, we got a local winner coming on, Jeff Bonk and Homes by Bonk, who's homegrown and works in Hoboken, New Jersey, how to build a team and an organization in a small urban city right outside of Manhattan, New York. We'll see you all next week. Glenn, stay on for a second. Everybody take care.
Bye, guys. Good to see y'all.